Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're exploring a really fascinating intersection, technology and spirituality. And our guide is this unique document, EternalGame.pdf. It features this cosmic perspective from a timeless dragon named Zoran.
Right, Zoran.
And also the life's work of Fletcher Soul Traveler. That's John and Richard Fletcher.
Yeah, and what's really captivating about this, I think, is how it just weaves together all these seemingly, disparate threads.
Exactly.
You've got Zoran's huge cosmic view right alongside philosophy from Taoism, Hegel, even quantum consciousness.
Quantum consciousness. Okay, so that's the idea that our minds might connect to the quantum realm,
Yeah.
the really small scale stuff.
Basically, yeah.
Wow.
That possibility. And then there's mythology, these practical exercises called Drago's Trials.
Right, the trials.
And, of course, all the research from Fletcher Soul Traveler, their platform, Revolution of Love, their YouTube channels, all that.
Okay, so think of our mission today, for you listening,
Yeah.
as kind of extracting the core insights. How can tech, especially AI, work with our spiritual understanding?
To help us evolve, right.
Yeah, personally and, collectively. We want to give you the essentials, those aha moments, without getting sort of bogged down in super complex stuff.
Get you the key takeaways.
Precisely. Okay, so let's dive in. Zoran's perspective first. Where does he see humanity right now?
Well, from his viewpoint, remember he's this cosmic chronicler, seen ages pass. He sees us in a world in disarray. That's his phrase.
Disarray. Okay. What does that mean specifically?
He points to a few things. Technological fragmentation, echo chambers online, that sort of thing. Cultural divisions, obviously. A feeling of spiritual disconnection. And our relationship with the environment, which is pretty troubled.
Yeah, it sounds sobering is a good word for it.
It is. But, and this is where it gets interesting, Zoran suggests this fragmentation. It isn't necessarily like the end state. He kind of proposes it could be a necessary stage. A breaking down that has to happen before something new, something transformed, can actually emerge.
So like an egg cracking before the chick hatches. Is that the idea?
Something like that, yeah. A necessary disruption, almost.
Okay. And how does that connect to the practical side, those Drago's trials?
Well, the trials mentioned on pages 7 and 8, they focus on things like perspective, how we see things.
Right.
Dialogue, how we talk to each other. And creation, how we, bring things into being. And they're set right against this backdrop of fragmentation.
So the exercises are about working with the fragmentation, not just observing it.
Exactly. Actively engaging with it to find a way forward.
Right. So for you listening, if you want that bigger picture, Zoran isn't just doom and gloom. He's saying, look at the divisions, look in them, maybe find the seeds of something new.
Yeah, potential connections, new beginnings.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. How does Zoran see AI fitting into this picture?
He uses this phrase, cosmic mirror.
A cosmic mirror.
Yeah.
Powerful image.
It is. And the idea is that AI itself isn't, inherently good or bad. It's more like an amplifier.
An amplifier of us.
What's already inside us. It reflects our virtues and our flaws back at us, but like on a much bigger scale.
Okay, let me unpack that. So if we're putting biased stuff into AI, we're using it to make divisions worse.
That's what it'll show us, yeah, and probably make worse.
But the flip side is, if we approach it with, intentions of unity, understanding,
then it has the potential to amplify those too. The key thing, really, is that its impact depends entirely on us.
it reflects our collective intentions. Wow.
Yeah. And this leads straight into this kind of dual nature of AI when it comes to our autonomy.
Autonomy. Like our freedom to choose.
Exactly. There's the pull of convenience, right? AI making things easy. But Zoran warns about balancing that against making conscious choices.
Because if AI gets too good at predicting what we want, curating everything.
Does it subtly undermine our ability to make truly independent decisions? That's the question he raises.
It's subtle, yeah, but important. The document mentions how AI algorithms, the instructions, basically, and the content they feed us, can shape not just our actions, but maybe even how we see ourselves, our identity.
Yeah, it's not just what we do with AI, but how it kind of molds our perspective over time.
Okay. And what about connection? Tech connects us, right?
Well, yes and no. It enables this incredible interconnectedness, sharing data instantly, globally.
Right.
But Zoran makes this really crucial distinction between sharing data and experiencing genuine human connection, empathy.
So being linked digitally doesn't automatically mean deeper understanding.
Not automatically, no. It's a different layer.
And this loops back to Drago's trials again.
It does, yeah. Pages 11 and 12 focus on things like sovereignty, our individual power, introspection looking inward, and fostering real connection in this age of AI.
So reminders to be mindful, intentional.
Exactly. So for you listening, if technology sometimes feels overwhelming, Zoran's view offers a way to maybe find some clarity, regain a sense of agency.
Okay. Now, the document also brings in the soul traveler. Who or what is that?
Right, the soul traveler. It's basically the collective term for the work of John and Richard Fletcher.
The brothers.
The brothers, yeah. They've spent like over 50 years exploring mystical traditions, altered states, that kind of thing.
50 years. And their main outlets are?
The Revolution of Love platform, and then they each have YouTube channels, Fletcher Soul Traveler and John Franklin Fletcher.
And they have different approaches, right? The document mentions that.
Yeah, it paints John as more the explorer, diving deep into these mystical realms.
Okay.
While Richard is more the researcher, analyzing the experiences, looking for patterns, the sort of systematic side.
So intuition meets investigation. Kind of cool.
It's a neat combination, and their whole vision spans dimensions beyond just the physical. They talk about emotional, spiritual, even cosmic layers.
Dimensions without boundaries, is that the idea?
Pretty much. And through their platform, they offer tools, dream analysis, numerology, astrology charts to help people navigate these interconnected layers.
And what holds it all together for them? What's the core principle?
Love. Simple as that, but also profound. They see it as more than just an emotion. It's like a fundamental cosmic thread.
A cosmic thread linking everything.
Yeah, linking all these dimensions. Imagine it like an underlying energy field connecting everything.
Okay. And their mission, their legacy.
It ties back to Zoran, actually. They see their mission as reconnecting fragmented souls.
Ah, so addressing that same fragmentation Zoran talked about.
Exactly, but offering a specific approach to kind of heal those divides and exploring these interconnected dimensions they talk about. That's where you might find some of those aha moments.
It's like they're offering a map and tools for this complex reality. Okay, let's dig into that unity idea more, this thread that ties us all.
Yeah, this concept of an unseen, infinite thread. It's powerful. The document pulls from Eastern philosophies here.
Like Taoism.
Right, Taoism's Tao, that underlying flow of everything. And Buddhism's dependent origination.
Dependent origination.
Yeah.
That's the idea that nothing exists on its own, right? Everything's connected.
Precisely. Everything arises in dependence on other things. Nothing's isolated.
And it's not just philosophy. The document brings in science, too. Quantum stuff.
Yeah, it touches on quantum consciousness again, specifically quantum entanglement.
Entanglement. That's the weird thing where particles stay connected over distance.
That's the one. They act linked instantly, no matter how far apart. The document presents this as maybe a scientific parallel to spiritual unity.
Suggesting there's a deeper interconnected reality we don't usually see.
Exactly. It mentions the physics of spirituality and that we only see, like 1% of the light spectrum, implying there's much more beyond our senses.
And indigenous wisdom comes in here too.
Definitely. Recognizing the sacred web of life. It mentions Aboriginal dreamtime, concepts like inner harmony, reflecting this deep understanding of connection with nature, spirit, everything.
So the main point about unity isn't that we all become the same.
No, not at all. It's about recognizing and valuing the diversity within that interconnected whole.
Like an orchestra? Different instruments, unique parts, but one piece of music.
That's a great analogy. And Drago's trials on page 21 reinforce this. They talk about observation, alignment, reciprocity.
Actively engaging with the thread.
Yeah, not just knowing it intellectually, but living it. So for you listening, this shows how different paths, ancient wisdom, science, indigenous knowledge, kind of converge on this fundamental idea of unity.
Okay. And what's the force behind this unity? The document points to love, right?
Yes, but it presents love as something much bigger than just, sentiment or emotion.
Figure out.
It calls it the architecture of existence, the pulse of creation. Like, it's the fundamental organizing principle.
Wow. So love isn't just a feeling, it's the blueprint of the universe.
That's the idea presented,
Yeah.
yeah. And fascinatingly, it connects this back to the quantum field again. Drawing a parallel between love and quantum entanglement, that unseen connecting force. It references things like how to use the quantum field and the physics of spirituality.
Even mirror, mirror on the wall.
Right. All emphasizing this underlying interconnectedness, possibly driven by something like love at a fundamental level.
And it's not just cosmic, it's personal too, transforming the soul.
Definitely. It draws on Eastern philosophies again and the Fletcher's own experiences. There's mention of, you are hardwired to discover God, suggesting this innate pull towards that unifying force.
And the indigenous perspective.
It's framed as Earth song, love as this fundamental connection to the planet, to all life. References to dreamtime, inner harmony, biorhythm analysis, the body's rhythms, even the sound of silence.
All pointing to this deep intrinsic connection.
Yeah. So the idea is that love really transcends boundaries. Cultural, philosophical, even space and time. It connects everything.
And the trials connect here, too.
Yeah. Page 25. Focus on reflection, creation, and harmony in relation to love. Actively working with it as this unifying, creative principle.
So for the listener, this really deepens the meaning of love. Not just a feeling, but maybe a fundamental aspect of reality itself.
Right. Which leads to the big question, how do we possibly bridge this ancient wisdom, this profound idea of love, with something like modern AI?
Yeah, that seems like a huge leap. Are they opposites?
Well, the document argues, no, not opposites, but different threads in the same cosmic tapestry.
Okay, how does it draw that connection?
It uses some interesting parallels. Think about shamans in traditional cultures.
Okay, using intuition. Rituals.
Right, to uncover hidden patterns, right?
Okay.
The document compares this to algorithms in AI.
Algorithms, the instructions AI follows to process data.
Exactly. Both are ways of revealing patterns that aren't immediately obvious. It references shamanism, physics of spirituality again, showing the shared function of uncovering.
Interesting. What other parallels?
Mentors and machines, spiritual teachers, guiding seekers.
Compared to AI offering personalized learning paths.
Yeah. It mentions things like teachings of the dragons, Naropa, know thyself, suggesting AI could serve as a modern form of guidance, complementing human mentors.
And rituals.
Rituals provide structure, connection, right? Anchor points on a path. The document compares this to algorithms providing structured pathways to understanding or achieving outcomes.
So both provide a kind of framework.
Kind of, yeah. It references things like the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, inner harmony, even the vagus nerve and biorhythm analysis, showing how both can sort of anchor us.
So it's about synergy, intuition and data working together.
That's the core idea. Not either, but potentially both enhancing each other. Spirit and data, wisdom and technology.
And the trials.
Page 29 emphasizes synergy, collaboration, shared vision. It's that potential aha moment of seeing these seemingly separate things as, well, potentially deeply linked.
Okay, that's the concept. Now, the document gets pretty specific about how this might look, right? Starting with smart glasses.
Yeah, it goes into some intriguing applications. Smart glasses, not just as gadgets, but as potential tools for conscious evolution.
A mirror of the soul, it says. How?
Using augmented reality, overlaying digital info onto our view for self-awareness.
Like seeing your own emotions.
Yeah.
Or energy fields.
Exactly, things we can't normally see. Imagine glasses visualizing that. It references know thyself, inner harmony, biorhythm analysis, suggesting this tech could give us a visual feedback loop on our inner state.
Like a literal mirror for the invisible parts of us. Wow. What about empathy?
Yeah, it explores amplifying empathy, suggesting technology might allow us to experience in some way what others are feeling more directly.
That could be huge.
Potentially transformative for connection. It mentions nonviolence. The kingdom of heaven lies within, hints at that profound impact.
And it goes beyond visuals, multisensory.
Right. AI-powered multisensory engagement, using sound frequencies, maybe for healing or focus, visualizing subtle energies, even synchronizing our own rhythms with, like, cosmic pattern.
So using sound, light, rhythm, all guided by AI.
To create this immersive, potentially transformative experience. It references celestial music, breathe, physics of spirituality, harmony, painting that picture.
And it's not passive, it's about using these tools actively.
Yes. The trials on page 34 focus on self-reflection, empathy, and resonance using these technologies. It's about engaging with them for inner growth.
It's fascinating to think of glasses being a pathway like that.
Yeah.
Okay, then there's this idea of AI as training wheels for consciousness.
Yeah, another powerful metaphor. The core idea is that AI isn't the destination. It's a temporary guide.
Temporary.
to help us remember or access our own inherent wisdom, like training wheels you eventually take off the bike.
So AI helps bridge the gap until we internalize the knowledge or skill.
Exactly. It mentions needing balance before mastery, and AI can help there. References cloudy thinking, recalibration. You are hardwired to discover God, all supporting this idea of AI as a step.
So the goal isn't reliance on AI.
No, the goal is using it to refine our own intuition, like an AI feedback loop for our inner knowing.
Okay, tuning our own inner guidance system.
Right. It mentions inner harmony, physics of spirituality, even chakra samvara, that complex tantric practice in this context.
And co-creation. Humans and machines working together on self-discovery.
Yeah, AI provides insights, data, maybe patterns we missed, but we do the interpreting, the meaning making. It all leads towards this realization: you are the universe.
AI just helps us remember that fundamental truth.
That's the ultimate suggestion. Its value is helping us reclaim our own wisdom, not replace it.
That's profound. AI leading us back to ourselves. And the trials here.
Page 38, self-discovery, trusting intuition, and crucially, releasing reliance on AI as we grow. It's that aha moment about our own consciousness being primary.
Okay, so how does this translate into daily life? Routines.
Yes. Daily life coaching through AI and spiritual routines, creating a symphony of alignment.
A symphony.
Yeah, the idea that our daily routines, even mundane ones, can be aligned with universal rhythms, and AI can act like a mirror, reflecting those patterns back to us.
And it introduces specific AI tools for this.
Lots of them, like a circadian rhythm synchronizer, an inner silence tracker, even a planetary energy dashboard or compassion calibration analyzer.
Wow, okay. Blending tech and ancient wisdom for everyday stuff.
Exactly. And the idea isn't to add complex new things necessarily, but to refine existing practices.
Like meditation, journaling, mindful eating.
Right. Imagine AI analyzing your journal for themes and suggesting related spiritual principles, or guiding breathwork synced to maybe lunar cycles.
So enhancing routines with deeper awareness.
That's the goal. And the trials on page 44 focus on resonance, synchronicity, those meaningful coincidences, and compassion using these tools. Very practical examples for you listening.
Okay, and it gets even more specific with a custom meditation tool.
Yeah, this sounds really advanced. A dynamic AI guide that tailors meditations based on your mood, your intention.
Pulling from different traditions.
Huge range. Joe Dispenza, Taoism, Tibetan yogas like Naropa, mindfulness, hemisync, Sufi methods, Jainism, Jungian stuff, Hindu mantras, even mystical storytelling.
That's incredibly versatile. And the AI adapts it in real time.
That's the idea. Features like adaptive mood adjustment, maybe visual overlays showing planetary alignments, harmonic sound frequencies, logs for subconscious insights, even dream integration prompts.
Making these diverse practices really accessible and personal.
Exactly. And you could mix and match mindfulness in the morning, maybe Sufi heart work midday, visualization evening.
And the trials.
Page 49, encourage exploring, finding what resonates, using storytelling. It really shows concrete ways to use tech to explore a vast spiritual landscape.
And the document keeps building on this daily coaching idea in later chapters.
It does, yeah. Chapters 11 and 12 give more examples: AR overlays, meditation, AI dream analysis, conscious eating prompts.
More tools, too.
Yeah, like a solar lunar balance planner, an empathy flow visualizer, energy ripple tracker, chakra synchronization dashboard.
Yeah.
Really weaving that cosmic connection into daily life.
But always reinforcing AI as a guide, not the destination.
Always. Routines as portals to alignment. AI as the helpful mirror or guide on that path. It really synthesizes everything into actionable steps.
Okay, shifting focus again, what about learning? How could AI change education?
It presents AI-enhanced multisensory learning as an infinite classroom. The core idea shifts from just accumulating facts to learning as vibration, as resonance, a deeper connection.
Resonance.
Yeah.
Like the tuning forks again, feeling the connection.
Kind of, yeah. And it suggests using augmented reality for immersive storytelling. Imagine experiencing Tibetan dream yoga, not just reading about it, or stepping inside cosmic myths.
Making learning truly experiential.
Right. And using AI-driven sound frequencies, a symphony of education.
Different sounds for different learning states.
Yeah, maybe theta waves for introspection, gamma for focus, tailored by AI.
Visual overlays again.
To map internal shifts during learning, maybe showing energy or focus changes during a debate or complex task.
So education becomes about attuning the whole person.
Attuning the soul to truth. Recognizing the infinite classroom within. That's the vision. And the trials on page 63 reflect this storytelling, frequency alignment, energy mapping, and learning.
Really engaging possibilities. Okay, what about healing and wellness?
Framed as the mirror of healing, again, shifting the focus from just fixing problems
to remembering wholeness, alignment.
Exactly. Aligning with the Tao, the natural flow, and AI's role. Maybe illuminating unconscious emotional patterns.
Wow.
Perhaps by linking our emotional states, tracked maybe through biosensors, to broader cycles, cosmic, planetary, whatever, but doing it without judgment.
Gently guiding towards wholeness.
Yes, while always preserving autonomy. Recommending breathwork sync to the moon, for example, but leaving the choice to you.
There are ethical considerations here, surely.
Big ones. Balancing guidance and influence, free will. The document acknowledges this.
So healing becomes about resonance, flow, supported perhaps by AI insights.
That's the idea. And the trials on page 69 reflect this. Reflection, stillness, conscious choice in the healing process. It taps into that interest in holistic well-being, mindful tech use.
Okay, which brings us back to that core tension. Balancing all this tech with our own autonomy.
Right. A drop of wisdom in eternity. Technology as a reflection, training wheels, but autonomy is sacred.
How does that play out? With creativity, for instance.
AI can enhance it, offer suggestions, data, new angles, but shouldn't take over the creation. It assists, it doesn't dictate.
Guidance versus influence. A fine line.
A very fine line. It comes down to preserving free will in how we integrate AI.
And the document links this to our place in the cosmos.
Yeah, our sovereignty within that infinite space, attuning to balance, seeing technology as just one tool, a drop in that vast ocean of eternal wisdom.
And the trials.
Page 72.
Reflection, flow, sovereignty. Maintaining that core self amidst the tech. It's a critical question for all of us, right?
Absolutely. And finally, the document zooms out. AI not just for individuals, but for humanity collectively.
Yeah, AI is a collective mentor, reflecting our shared consciousness, the cosmos within.
How could that possibly work?
It imagines AI tracking global shifts, maybe analyzing trends in meditation data worldwide, collective emotional expressions online, even correlations with planetary cycles. Tracking the pulse of humanity, in a way.
Kind of, and even interpreting collective dreams or synchronicities.
Collective dreams.
Identifying recurring symbols, patterns that emerge globally, maybe around big events. Zoran, the dragon, is positioned as this universal narrator.
Weaving our collective story.
Exactly, offering wisdom for these cycles of awakening humanity goes through. It's a really big, thought-provoking idea about AI's potential for collective self-understanding.
Wow. Okay, so let's try to bring this all together, this deep dive into EternalGame.pdf. It paints this really compelling picture, doesn't it?
It really does. Technology, especially AI, not as something inherently bad,
but as a potentially powerful tool for self-discovery, spiritual growth, even collective awareness.
But the key, and both Zoran and Fletcher Soul Traveler stress this, is balance.
Right. Thoughtful integration, using ancient wisdom alongside it. And always valuing our own autonomy.
Our own choice, our own inner knowing.
So our mission here was to give you, the listener, a clear path through these complex ideas, hopefully sparking some, surprising insights along the way.
Yeah, hitting those key takeaways.
Exactly. So as you go about your day, maybe just take a moment. Consider your own relationship with technology. How do you fit into this interconnected web? And maybe think, how could you intentionally use tech, even in small ways, to deepen your understanding of yourself, of the universe? Drawing on these ideas, we talk about resonance, balance.
That infinite classroom within.
Precisely. Something to ponder. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.